Easy reps. I wondered this a while back, mainly to set out to complete all of my reputations and also easy mount. So today we'll be going over 10 easy reputations that you can get in WoW. Let us begin. Starting off this list at number 1 is the reputation for the Thorium Brotherhood. Gaining this reputation with the Thorium Brotherhood will require you to go to the Blackrock Depths dungeon inside Blackrock Mountain. You will then need to head towards the Grim Guzzler inside of this instance and speak to Logtos, Dark Bargainer. Here he will offer you a repeatable quest or quests for this reputation. This is by far the fastest method and will require materials to hand in. 6,600 dark iron ore, 165 fiery cores, 165 lava cores, 440 core leather, or 165 blood of the mountain. The cheapest method for turn-ins is either 165 fiery cores or 165 lava cores, as they are always on the auction house for a super cheap price, and as such this is the best option to become exalted. One thing to note is you have to pick either one of these from this list. Coming in at number 2 on our list is the Shatari Skyguard. To gain reputation with this faction, you must first make your way over towards Sketis in the Terakar Forest. Here you'll want to speak to Grella to start the initial quest line at coordinates 64.2 to 66.2. This is until you get to the quest World of Shadows. This is where you'll be wanting to gather 6 shadow dust from the Arakoa mobs in this area. By handing in this quest, you will receive around 250 reputation for each completion, flying around the area in a circle slaying all of the mobs for the dust, and it will take you around 3 to 4 hours to become exalted with this faction. Mobs also drop an item called Time Lost Scrolls. Once you have 10, you can summon any of the rare mobs from the campfires dotted around the area. This will provide a lootable item, after which, once you have gathered one from each rare, you can hand them in for bonus reputation, which is around 500 reputation for each. These rares are Dark Screecher Akurari at coordinates 69.6 to 74.6, Karog at 70 to 79.6, Gezerak the Huntress at 72.2 to 88.2, and Vakiz the Wind Rager at 75.2 to 81.2. Up next at number 3 is the reputation for the Wyrmrest Accord. To gain reputation with the Knights of the Wyrmrest Accord, you must first need to become friendly with this faction to do the main method. To become friendly with this faction, you will need to do some quests. Make your way over towards the Borean Tundra and complete the quests in the hub. The coordinates of the starting quest for this is at 33.2 to 34.2 within the Borean Tundra. Once you have completed this, head over towards the Wyrmrest Accord Course Master in Dragonblight at coordinates 59.8 to 53. Then purchase the item Tabard of the Wyrmrest Accord. You may also continue the quest chain, but this will take a while, with the ending quest being dailies. Make your way over towards the Pit of Sauron dungeon within Icecrown. Set it to heroic mode. Now gather all of the trash mobs at the front of the dungeon and burn them down. This will reward you with a lot of reputation with all of these factions. You will hit exalted with the Wyrmrest Accord within 10 to 11 hours. It is wise to know that you should not slay any of the bosses, as it will lock you to the dungeon, which is something we do not want. We want to reset it as many times as possible. As a side note, in heroic Pit of Sauron, the Battered Hilt can drop from the trash mobs, which can also sell for some really good gold. Coming up at number 4 is the Alliance Vanguard and the Horde Expedition. This reputation guide is gaining a reputation with the Alliance Vanguard, Explorers League, the Silver Covenant, the Alliance Expedition, and the Frostborn. You are able to gather all of the reputations with one method I have stated for the Wyrmrest Accord, which is the Pit of Sauron on heroic difficulty, though you must not have a tabard to gain this type of reputation, and it will take you roughly around about about the same amount of time as you would for the Wyrmrest Accord. Next up at number 5, we have the Scryers and the Aldor from the Burning Crusade expansion. In order to become exalted with these factions, you must first complete the initial quest line Adal at coordinates 59.8 to 41.6 within Shatar City. Once this is done, you must start farming your reputation. Take advantage of the repeatable quest, more Firewing Signets for the Scryers and more Marks of 𝐂𝐨𝐴𝐸 for the Aldor, where you'll want to either farm or purchase them off of the auction house. Marks of 𝐂𝐨𝐴𝐸 can be farmed in Nagrand at coordinates 11.6 to 38.2 from the Death Shadow mobs, and Firewing Signets can be farmed in Terakar Forest at coordinates 73.6 to 35.8 from the Firewing mobs respectively. These quests can be done until you reach Honoured. After this is done, the quest now is more Marks of Sargeras. You can either farm these in the Shadow Labyrinth or purchase them from the auction house, or more Sun Fury Signets. You can either farm these in the dungeon Botanica or purchase them also off of the auction house. This will get you to exalted with this faction. At number 6 is the reputation of the Violet Eye. To gain reputation with this faction, you only have one true easy method. This is to farm the trash mobs within Karazhan. This does mean that you will not be slaying any of the bosses. This is because you are wanting to reset the raid after you have killed the trash mobs, and as such, killing the boss will lock you to this raid. In short, you won't be able to reset if you slay a boss. Trash farming is the most repeatable method and will reward you with a strong amount of reputation through every run. As a bonus, Archmage Leda has a series of quests you can do to gain more reputation with them also, but it is advised to do this when you are at Revered with this faction. The starting coordinates of this is 47.2 to 75.0 outside of the Karazhan raid. Following on to this, at number 7, we have the Lorewalkers. You are able to become exalted with this faction in about an hour. Go to all of the locations in Pandaria and click the scrolls and monuments dotted around Pandaria. You will receive initial reputation each time you do this, and all location points are inside of my add-on Worth It guides for ease of use. After clicking on each monument and scroll, you will be mailed a scroll which you will then hand into Lorewalker 𝐂 in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. Only hand in these scrolls once you have gone to each location, otherwise you will have to do multiple trips. Once you have handed in and completed step 1 and step 2, you will then be exalted with the Lorewalkers. Congratulations, you also gain a mount through this. Next up at number 8 is the reputation for the Shatar. The Shatar is the easiest reputation to gain in the Burning Crusade. You will not need to complete any quest for this. You will be wanting to make your way over towards the Botanica dungeon and run this dungeon a few hours at coordinates 66.2 to 65.2 in Netherstorm. This is done, of course, with other dungeons like the Arctraz and the Mechanar, but the Botanica is the fastest way to clear and gain this reputation. Following on to this, at number 9, we have the reputation of the Order of the Cloud Serpent. To gain reputation with this faction, you will need to complete the initial quest line to unlock the dailies. Starting the quest chain is located in the Jade Forest from Elder Anli. She is the Serpent Master within this questing hub. This quest is called Wild Things and located at coordinates 57.6 to 44.8 within the Jade Forest. Once you have completed the initial quest line, you will then be given the reputation dailies for this faction. This is where you'll be raising a Cloud Serpent, which you'll eventually be given it as a mount. You are able to speed this up, however, and become exalted much faster by doing the quest Onyx to Goodness. This is where you'll be gathering the item Onyx Eggs for each one of your hand-ins, and you will receive 500 reputation for this with this faction. You can farm this without a daily limit, but these eggs do have a respawn timer of around an hour, so bear this one in mind. Locations are located within Worth It guides for ease of use within the game, as well as the Lorewalkers one. Coming in at last on our list is the reputations for the Pearlfin Jinyu and the Forest Hozen. These factions are one of the easiest to gain reputation for. You are able to become exalted with this faction just by completing all of the quest chains for them. Nazgrim's Command is the quest for Horde at 28.4 to 24.8, and the White Pawn for Alliance at 48.0 to 88.4 within the Jade Forest from Sky Admiral Rogers. Starting at your capital city, leading you to the Jade Forest, you will start gaining reputation once you get to the quest Swallowed Whole for the Horde at coordinates 28.8 to 32.6 by Lorewalker Cho, and Ancient Power for Alliance at 54.2 to 82.4 by the Bold Karashi. Follow the quest lines until complete and boom, you are exalted. And that completes our list of the 10 easiest reputations in WoW. Let me know if there is any other reputations I might have missed in the comments down below. Other than that guys, have a wonderful rest of the day and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon.